Good morning. So just a quick little, very short stream before I start work. Um, I just woke up, and one thing that's interesting is I was looking on YouTube, you know, this morning and last night. So many people playing Final Fantasy, and if you actually do searches for, just go and do a search for, WoW player plays Final Fantasy. I don't know if it's because of Bellular or what, but you're gonna find a lot of videos. 15 years long WoW nerd. First impression of Final Fantasy 9 months ago. First impressions as a WoW player 1 month ago. I played WoW for half my life. I played WoW for Final Fantasy for a month, 6 days ago. From WoW to Weave 3 days ago. I mean, Final Fantasy 14 first impressions after 15 years of WoW day one day ago. What kind of is annoying, and this is just it's always the YouTube algorithm, man. Plus, also, I don't really do a lot in the way of editing my videos, but I look at a video like this,
What's up, guy?
and you got a guy, nice, seems like a nice guy, Medieval Marty, and he does this video. He's got 21,000 views. This guy only has 2.31 thousand. He doesn't have many more subscribers than I do. He's got about, like, honestly, he's got about, I guess, 700 more. But his video has 21,000 views, and my videos have like 100. I'll never understand the. I'll never understand the YouTube algorithm. I really won't. I don't understand how someone can put up a video. Now, a lot of it, a lot of it does tend to be the title. It just depends on how YouTube picks it up and advertises it. But I may change the titles of my videos for this for this series, just maybe just to get some more views. But it's just a little depressing when you create something and it gets like 100 views, and someone else is basically doing the same thing and it gets 21,000 views. So it's kind of funny. Although he's doing first impressions, I probably should have put first impressions in my title. So maybe we'll edit these. What I called this is WoW player plays Final Fantasy, and then I've got more information about uh, you know what class I'm playing, and then in the description I talk about what level I am, what data center, what world, a little bit more information. But anyways, maybe we'll modify. Maybe I'll go back and modify some of the titles of the actual series, and see if we can get some more views. It's a little depressing when you get like 100 views and someone else is getting like 20,000 views and their content's pretty much the same. Although he is doing more of a true first impressions. So, anyways, this one relies on walking once for everything, no better than those that some of the prime want. Small wonder this one chooses to leave. This one thought this place likely to build a home, but then Meddling One arrives, forces this one to go deeper into the forest. Meddling One is forbidden from following this one away with Meddling One. Okay. One thing I noticed is if you look at the graphics, it has the feeling of being like, I don't know how to explain it, but like the textures and stuff feel almost, they're just a little bit overly complicated, believe it or not. Like when you look at the wood and the grass, like when I look around the world, especially the trees, look at all it's almost like the details too high in a way that it doesn't give you a very clean look, I guess. Like when you look at a stylized game like World of Warcraft, or you look at one like Guild Wars 2 or something, they haven't done. Excuse me, I just woke up. I'm yawning. They haven't done as much with the detail. They haven't tried to make it quite as detailed, and because of that, the world is a little bit less busy. When I look at these, when I view the, zoom the camera out and I look, it seems a little, for lack of a better word, busy. And I wonder if that's why they also went with a little bit more of a flat color palette, um, to kind of not really inundate you with too much color. I don't know. Just interesting, interesting things to think about. But there is a lot going on with the textures. If you look at the textures of the roots, stone, wood, the forest floor, even like I said, on the trees, there's a lot going on with mod. I mean, it looks cool, but sometimes it can be a little bit busy. A little bit busy. Visually. What? Claxia refused to return to these ones and went deeper into the forest, but this one saw touched ones lurking in the forest. Go find Claxio. Help Claxio! Fate complete. Don't like these weapons that are just like, looks like I'm walking around with a wooden paddle, although it does have some metal hammered into it, it looks like. The music reminds me of Phantasy Star Online. A cool tree there. Touched ones. This one is good and everyone should just leave this one alone. Leave me alone! These sylphs have been tempered by the Efreet. They exist only to serve the deity. They'll not answer to words, only steal. I take no pleasure in this, but it must be done. What's up, Zalston? How you doing? This beastly looking guy. Hold on a second. Yes, I am a paladin. Am I using the wrong... Hold on a second. This one is safe. This one was so scared. Claxio, this one's been worried, so very worried. Is Claxio unharmed? Homuxio and Meddling One as well. Why are these two here? These two came to rescue Claxio. Claxio is safe. Claxio is safe. Fills this one with joy. Homuxio, forget this one. This one did not mean to run away from Little Sauce. This one was afraid. This one lives at a Little Sauce. We're changing, becoming friendly with the other ones. This one feared that these ones were forgetting who these ones are, like Touched Ones did. But this one was wrong. This one can see now that meddling are helpful ones. This one is grateful. This one returned to Little Solace. Yeah, I did the Paladin quest, so I'm actually a Paladin. Well, that should see to that. We should, let's say we return to Little Solace as well. So if I go to... excuse me, I just woke up. My voice is kind of rough right now. So if we go to here, you can see right now I'm on my Paladin set. If I go to classes, or you can see Paladin, and we've got Gladiator, Paladin, and I've also learned Armory and Mining. But currently where we have our Paladin set equipped. The music in this game sometimes is really good, and sometimes it's not so good. That music there is not my favorite. Yeah, I was just talking to Zalson how, like, there's so many people playing Final Fantasy right now that are coming from World of Warcraft. And, like, it's like they get all these views and I'm getting no views. Also, like, if you go in here and you search WoW player, right, plays Final Fantasy, there's so many videos of people who are leaving WoW to play Final Fantasy, right? This one here, like, here's a guy who's got 2.3K subscribers, does a video called Final Fantasy First Impressions after 15 years of WoW, right? Maybe I need to rename my series. I think I'm gonna do that, but 22,000 views. Yeah, I get like 100 views, you know. No one cares about me. It's hilarious, man. Oh, it's getting majorly hyped, Zalson, because Final Fantasy XIV is getting... Hey, what's up, I'm Babe? Is getting majorly hyped because of people like... Mostly, I think it's due to Bellular, really. You know Bellular Gaming, right? If you go to Bellular Gaming and just go to his channel, right? Actually, I feel like Bellular Clips probably is better, but Bellular has just been really, you know, streaming Final Fantasy 14. They're talking Final Fantasy 14 is doing everything right. Could Bellular steer away from WoW? Rating in Final Fantasy 14 compared to WoW. Final Fantasy 14 is gripping Bellular in. I mean, he's just one streamer, but he's got a lot of people that watch Bellular, you know. Have you tried the expanded free trial of our critically acclaimed? Yeah, is that? I've heard that. Yeah, that meme is definitely out there, right? This one has known many walking ones, even many kind walking ones, but helpful one is kindest and strongest of all. Helpful one is a hero to these ones. Helpful one will bring these ones and walking ones closer together. This one knows. This one would take helpful one to see the elder one. The elder one is something. Yeah, but it's a little, you know me, Zalson. I don't make videos to try to get subscribers, really. I just play games that I like and I stream it, right? But it's a little disheartening when I see all the people doing content like I'm doing for Final Fantasy XIV, and yet they're getting like 20, 30,000 views, and I'm getting like 100. It's just like, what the? But yeah, it's like I said yesterday. The hardest thing with Final Fantasy XIV is it just seems like the dialogue and the quest. You have to read through a lot of dialogue, and there's the story's really good, but it's also can be for a lot of WoW players who are used to just clicking through the quest text really quick, or just clicking instant quest text and clicking accept quest and running out there. It can be a big But yeah, Bellular and Esmeralda have such a massive audience. So yeah, Bellular definitely has a big audience. I mean, his channel has like 600,000 subscribers. His videos that he put up gets thousands and thousands of views. So him, and he streams a lot. He streams a lot, and they talk about Final Fantasy and. I wonder if there's any. Let's see. Full HD. Did you guys notice if that made a difference? Oh, this is like UI settings. Yeah, no, we don't like that. I increased the size of the UI. This is just manipulating the size of the UI based on what your display resolution is. Fine. I think I have everything turned up all the way. Yeah. I kind of like that. Naturally darken the edges of the screen. Limb darkening. Kind of like that. We're gonna leave that on for now. Makes it a little darker, but kind of cool. Ed Boy. Yeah, I think I need to change the title, Einbei. I was like I said. I mean, I see people getting a lot of views. My title's not the best title. WoW player plays Final Fantasy XIV. I think first impressions. Obviously, when you put in a first impressions, people are going to search for that. This video series wasn't meant to be like a first impressions. Hey, what's up, GS? I know it's kind of hard to see, but I'm currently at level 33 on this character. We are level right here, level 33 paladin. But in regards to Ed Boy, you either quit at A Realm Reborn and 2.1 or 2 or 3, or you see yourself play long enough to become the walking advertisement of the critically acclaimed MMO Final Fantasy XIV with a free trial up to the award-winning Heaven's Sword. Thanks, GS. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think A Realm Reborn is definitely, from what I've seen and what people have told me, is fun, but it's not the best part of Final Fantasy XIV. So it's tough to get through. And I think it was Einbei, you were telling me, right? You've played tons. You've put in tons of time, and even just getting to like level 50, you still have to do so many of the story quests, like tons of story quests. So the questing is very, you know, it's very time consuming. A lot of quests. What makes it would have make a confession to you. This one must ask kind one's forgiveness. This one made promises to take kind one to see Elder One yet, but this one cannot because Elder One is not here. Elder One, man, my throat. I got a frog in my throat. Elder One is not anywhere. Elder One went into the forest yesterday, but has not come back. This one is worried. Elder One often goes in the forest, but never for this long. Kind one will help find Elder One. Near where Elder One disappeared is the home of the walking one named Buscaran. Buscaran may know what happened to the Elder One. And kind one comes from Gridania, yes. In Gridania live many kind ones, yes. This one begs of kind one, please go to Gridania and ask fellow kind ones to help. And please hurry. Oh, that's true, ED Boy, and I don't think WoW's going anywhere anytime soon. You know? Yeah, I don't think WoW's going anywhere anytime soon. Um, but I do think WoW's in a bad state right now. You know? What isn't our intrepid ambassador? How far are your diplomatic efforts with the Sylph tribes? The Elder One's going to go, I'm missing you, say. Why? If he were to end up in the hands of the Temper Ones, we'd have a crisis on our hands. You can assure the Sylphs that my sharpest-eyed serpents will be on their lookout night and day. No, no stone must be left unturned. I would ask you to call upon Molkaw, sounds like a Klingon, at Bent Branch Meadows and deliver the message that the Wood Whalers are needed in search of and help of this search. Sylph Elder has vanished. Worry not, friend. The Wood Whalers have eyes under every leaf, behind every branch. If the Elder is anywhere in these forests, we shall find him. Well, Blizzard has a history of doing that. And Blizzard has a history of releasing major updates at the same time as other games, to try to compete. But I don't know why that seems kind of stupid. I don't think that they would push it back. I don't think that's the case here. I could be wrong, but I don't think that's what they're doing. It usually does work for them, but in this case, it wouldn't. In this case, I don't think it's going to work for them to wait. I mean, the only way Blizzard's going to dig themselves out of the hole they're in is to start putting out, is to start listening to the community, start listening to the feedback, like people like Bellular, people that really know the game, and and stop putting these stupid systems in place that are just boring, repetitive time gates. I quit playing retail WoW a long time ago because it's the same thing. Every expansion of WoW is the same thing. There's nothing new. It's like, oh, we added some new races. Not really. You have these allied races that are basically just reskins of existing races. In most cases, they do add a few new ones. But the systems that they use are stupid systems. They're boring systems. They're repetitive. They're just ways to keep you playing the game so they can create more content. There's way better ways to do that. I don't want to get into a huge retail WoW bashing thing because I don't really. I've been there and done that. You know what I mean? I don't play retail WoW. I think retail WoW is a horrible game. It's a mobile mount collection game, to be honest. It's a silly game. So now, Classic WoW and Burning Crusade Classic are very good games, but I've already played them. I've played WoW since beta in 2004, so I've been there, done that. I don't watch that. Was an FPS not a team? Oh, Battleborn was an FPS, but MOBA, not a team shooter like Team Fortress. Kind of switched the gears on us there, Edie boy. We have the finest grog and grubs. Okay. Still flicking your breaths. I don't know. I never played. I played Shadowlands all of, I think, what, like a couple hours? I think I put about 10 hours into it and said this sucks, basically. If you go to my channel and do a search for Shadowlands, I leveled a Void Elf Shadow Priest, right? And I actually did pretty well. A lot of people enjoyed that. Enjoyed my series of leveling a Void Elf Shadow Priest, but once I got to like a certain level, I pretty much quit. I wasn't enjoying the game. I wasn't enjoying retail. There's been talk of a sylph lurking hereabouts, but I couldn't really say if it's the elder you seek. Give the time, maybe you could stay a while and see what the gods have in store. You never know. You might stumble across the sylph elder yourself. Oh yeah, that's right. You're right, Edie boy. They released Overwatch at the exact same time as they released Battleborn at the same time. I mean, they released Overwatch. Wasn't it at the same time that Battleborn came out or something like that? They were like parallel, and they completely crushed it, right? Blizzard killed Battleborn with Overwatch. People thought Battleborn was like Team Fortress 2. Yeah. I come from FPS. I was a hardcore FPS player for a long time, right? Again, if you go to my channel and search for, I did a video 5 years ago because I stopped playing FPS games back in about 1990. I'd say I quit FPS probably around 1997, 1996, 1997, maybe 1998, and I'm trying to think. Yeah, I guess that's right. When was UT99 was the... No, I didn't quit that. I'm not thinking correctly. I quit playing them probably around 2000. I guess it was around 2001 or 2002 is more accurate. And then I started playing, Lineage 2. And Lineage, that's when I first started playing. I made the change from FPS to MMO because I was, I'd played FPS for so long, right? But Unreal Tournament was and it always will be my favorite game of all time, right? Like if you ask me what's my favorite game I've ever played, I will always say Unreal Tournament, without a doubt. I had, good 4 or 5 years of playing Unreal Tournament. I was, almost professional level. I was super good. I was ridiculously good. I would play on servers and people knew my name. Like when I would come in to capture the flag matches, people knew we were going to win once I joined because I could sway almost any match in our team's favor because I was that good. And I would get banned on servers all the time because they said I was aimbotting, but of course I wasn't. Um, I was just that good. But I mean, I loved Unreal Tournament. I absolutely loved it. When I first played Unreal Tournament for the first time, I had never played a game like that, a team shooter, or an FPS game like that. I really hadn't even played FPS at that point. I was still playing probably other games like I don't know, Mech Warriors. I don't even know what I was playing before that. But a friend of mine who was kind of was on some professional Counter Strike teams, he kept trying. He knew how good I used to be in Unreal Tournament. He was always trying to recruit me into Counter Strike to play Counter Strike, and I just told him, I said, I quit. I said I don't do FPS anymore. And I had gotten to a point in FPS, in Unreal Tournament where I was playing, I was playing almost 8 hours a day. I would. This is way back when my job was right across the street from me, so I would get up and I would play Unreal Tournament for about an hour or two in the morning, kind of what I'm doing right now with Final Fantasy. But and I would play for an hour or two, and then I'd go into work and I'd work and I'd lunch break. I'd walk across the street home and I'd play Unreal Tournament for an hour. Then I'd walk back across the street and I'd work until 5 or 6 o'clock. Then I'd walk back home, jump right on. I need to get something to eat, and then I'd play Unreal Tournament from about 6 p.m. until about midnight. And I did that like every day for probably almost 3 years, and that's all I did. Um, this is right after my divorce. I had just gotten divorced, so it was a good distraction for me. You know what I mean? But I played so much Unreal Tournament, and I was really good. And so this my friend who was in counter, he knew how good I was. He used to come and watch me play. He'd come over and watch me. And I remember one time, the first time he actually came, you were born in 1995. I was born in 1970. So, Unreal Tournament 1990 was 1999. So if you think, I was probably 20, I was in my late 20s, 29 years old when I was really playing Unreal Tournament. So if you think about it, it's kind of funny because I was really good. Like I was super good in Unreal Tournament. But think about it, if I would have played that game when I was, say, like 15, I would have been even better because my reflexes probably would have been a little bit better. I was a big tennis player, so my hand-eye coordination and my twitch reflexes were really good from years and years of hardcore tennis. And actually, believe it or not, that translates into FPS games. Because in tennis, and I was a serve and volleyer, so I would serve and come to the net, and so you have to have incredibly fast, processing and reflexes. My friend served over 100 miles an hour, so I was used to returning, 100 plus mile per hour serves. I would come to the net, and he's hitting like 90-mile-an-hour forehands at me. You know what I mean? So you had to have very fast reflexes to deal with that kind of stuff, and that actually translated into FPSs. Just having those super quick twitch reflexes, and kind of funny. But I did a video once where my friends like trying to get me to play Unreal Tournament or play Counter Strike, and I said, look, I haven't played FPS games in a couple years. And if you don't play a game like Unreal Tournament or whatever FPS game for a couple years, your aim just goes to shit. It really does. And one of the training regimens, I would do in Unreal Tournament when I was good, is I would put on, I'd put it on, deathmatch, 99 frags to win the match, and I would do it on the Deck 16 because this is Deck 16, the map, because it has, it has various levels, right, up and down. You're shooting down, and I'm just doing, sniper rifle. So it's basically a sniper rifle match, and these bots are probably sitting at a depth. And you can look at this and just see how bad, and look at the video, how bad my aim is currently. And even just watch this, I can see how slow my reflexes are. My aim was really bad. But also, the way I played, I think there's one part where I kind of go off and get a bunch of headshots in a row, but the way I played too was a little different, and this is kind of going down a different path, but it's fun. It's always fun to talk about this stuff. Like in Unreal Tournament, and this translates into any FPS game. There's mouse sensitivity, right? and like how fast, your mouse sensitivity is how fast the screen, your mouse cursor moves when you move, right? Yeah, I would have been good in my teen years for sure. I used to win tennis tournaments when I was younger, so I was big into tennis. I started playing tennis, in high school. So I played tennis from, around 16 all the way up to into my probably into 16 to 30 was probably the years I put in most of the time in tennis. But your mouse sensitivity is how fast the mouse cursor is moving. So so even in Unreal Tournament, I had a pretty high mouse sensitivity. Like I don't remember what it was. I'm trying to think what it was. I think it was like I think I was around 3.5, and that was like Unreal Tournament. I don't think I have it installed anymore. No, I don't. But I think it was. Ooh, did I have it in that screenshot? Oh well. I think it was around 3.5. Which is pretty quick. Like a lot of people in Unreal Tournament would be sitting at like 1.5, and I was around 3.5 or somewhere between 3.5 and 4. So when I moved my mouse, the screen moved fast. That's why when you watch that video, I was just showing it was kind of all over the place, And I would do stuff like this where I would shake the screen, and I was just trying to, get my brain going to get the synapses firing because you have to have that really twitch response. You got to be able to quickly snap to targets, quickly. And, an enemy comes flying across the screen, you've got to be able to quickly, move the screen, get your cursor on his head, and get pulled off the headshot instantly. The best players, that's why they were so good, is how fast they can get the cursor right onto whatever it is they're trying to hit, And if you look at when I played Overwatch, because Overwatch was the first game that was an FPS game that made me want to play Overwatch was the first game that made me want to play FPS again. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. See, Einbei, that's the thing. That's the thing, Einbei, is back in the days of 1999, it was ball mice. And that's what people don't get. Because I played most of my formative FPS with a ball mouse, you learn how to do the wrist flicks. Like I was so good in Unreal Tournament when I came into Facing Worlds and I came into the base to get the flag. You would and I was playing low gravity as well, so I would double tap dodge, be flying through the air, right? Would land right on top of the flag, double tap left to fly across the bottom of the base, and if someone came behind me to shoot at me, I would just flick my wrist because it's a ball mouse, and I would do I could flick my wrist and do a perfect 180 spin, like almost every time. I could just flick, flick, drop, flick, drop, flick, drop, and it'd be that 180 perfect spin, right? And that's all from playing with ball mouse. So that when that moved into the laser revolution, where the laser mice, my mouse sensitivity is still much higher because we did a lot more quick twitch stuff with flicking the mouse that people later on down the road who didn't play with ball mice don't play that way because they get the bigger. That's why the mice are bigger. Like the mouse pads, the mouse pads were bigger, and you see people with these big arm movements. It's not the wrist movements so much, but you're moving from your elbow almost. You're moving your arm because the mouse sensitivity is so much lower, and you're trying to have the precision with the mouse. It was completely different. That's why if you look at this video, I came from a different time, right? So when I translate that into a more modern FPS game, I didn't play modern FPS games the way most people did. And that's why if you look at this video, and the video was called Overwatch Widowmaker 400 DPI at 62.17 mouse sensitivity. Now look at the comments. It's a joke. Never you playing so high in game. People couldn't believe I was playing with mouse sensitivity that high. And I said, actually, it's not a joke. I said I played quite well with that sense. Even had compliments in game from other players saying I was a very good Widowmaker. This was the very beginning of Overwatch, right? So don't ever discount the abilities of someone to do something you think is hard or possible. Just because you can't do it does not mean they cannot. It's because I came from ball mice, right? So if you take a look at this video, it's really interesting. And this is just a highlight. But what you want to focus on is watch how I kind of move the cursor around, but watch how you'll see it kind of flick. And it's because I'm tracking, and then I do a quick kind of movement with my wrist to get the cursor where I want it. And that's because that's how I played with a ball mouse. It was a wrist flick to, you would also track with a ball mouse, but a lot of times because of how fast things were flying around in Unreal Tournament, you would do wrist flicks. You would wrist flick get the cursor where you want, put the mouse back down on the mouse pad to hold the cursor in place and fire. You would do a lot of stuff like that. They were, and people do it in people do it in Overwatch too, but it wasn't to the degree that we did with a ball mouse. You can see how I kind of twitch the mouse right there. There, see the twitch? There. They, like, I kind of get the cursor close, like maybe an inch away from where I'm shooting, and then I kind of do a quick little movement to get it where I want. All right, we'll show it again. But yeah, I'm using right there. People could, I was using mouse sensitivity of 62.1 cents at 400 DPI. Go into Overwatch and do that. Set your DPI, set your mouse DPI to 400. Set your mouse sensitivity in game to 62, and watch how fast your cursor is going to move. And that's how I played. Now, the longer I played Overwatch, you can see here I updated. I did slowly work my DPI down to 38, which is still way higher than what most people were playing at. Most people, I think, were playing it down around like 10 to 20 maybe. But yeah, I played Overwatch was super fun. We're getting off target here, and I have to go to work, but it's fun to look at these Overwatch videos because I really enjoyed Overwatch. Overwatch was like a really good game. I quit it because it was too toxic. Overwatch, like playing in like high level Overwatch, was way too toxic, right? Am I spelling this right? I was top 10% in the United States with Pharah when I was playing Pharah a lot. Pharah was so much fun, and of course, and the other reason I quit Overwatch is because they would they would break everything. They would like change stuff and take stuff away. The best part about Pharah was the knockback with the rocket launcher, and they took away knockback, which is like, oh, this is awesome. That video is classic. They had the shield and they were charging in to take control of the point, and I almost blew their whole entire team off the map. That was just I love this one. This one's classic. Talking about a team, but watch this. They're moving in with almost their whole team. Boop. I just knocked like 4 of them off. Actually, I think I knocked 2. That one's classic, right? But yeah, they would make changes. That was a problem with the other thing like you look at is Unreal Tournament dominated at the FPS for Unreal Tournament, and there was also Quake, but Unreal Tournament was a great game, right? And here's the thing: did they ever change any of the weapons in Unreal Tournament? No. You know why? Because Unreal Tournament was so perfectly balanced. All the weapons were perfectly balanced. There was no need to change anything, right? So then, but the problem with Blizzard is because they came from World of Warcraft. I think it's like this World of Warcraft mentality is ingrained. Let me log into work. Is ingrained into them. And, I mean, they think they have to change stuff to keep people interested, but that's not the case. If the game is fun, there's no need to change the weapons. Leave them alone. They kept changing the classes, trying to balance them and trying to take abilities away from our class, like Widowmaker, It's long past time, Edie boy, but they ruined Overwatch. Overwatch was a great game, and I played it, and they took away they changed Widowmaker's zoom in and out so that it was so slow it really hurt Widowmaker. And they did it. You know why they did it? Because there was an old school Quake player. There's an old school Quake player who jumped on, and you got to think the hitboxes in Overwatch are completely different. Like in Unreal Tournament, they're hit scan. They're pixel perfect, right? So like if I look at an enemy and I put my cursor above his head and shoot, I'm gonna miss. Like if I put my aiming cursor, and I use the small aiming cursor in Unreal Tournament, just the little dot, right? Which is probably like maybe 5 to 6 pixels in size. If I move that above an enemy's head and fire with a sniper rifle, I will miss every time. But in Overwatch, you won't. If you go to one of the little shooting galleries, and if you move the aiming cursor just a little bit above, a few pixels above the head of the robot, the gallery robot, and shoot, you will hit him. So Overwatch has very forgiving hitboxes, and they did that because they wanted it to appeal to more people. If they would have went like hit scan, pixel perfect, like you have in like Quake or Unreal Tournament, or maybe even in a game like Counter-Strike, it would appeal more to the hardcore FPS players, and they wanted to get a broader audience. So the decision they made was good to appeal to a bigger audience. The problem with that is you get an old school gamer like Overwatch, because old school gamer like Quake, and I'm telling you right now, the best FPS players aren't the FPS players who play today. I fully don't believe that, because I played against some of those old school guys on Unreal Tournament and Quake, and the skill that they had, because you got to remember that those games are fast moving. Like Unreal Tournament has all these different modes and patches and different game modes that people have created, like the user community would create. So when I played Unreal Tournament, I didn't play normal game speed. I played 135 or 150, which is either 35% faster or 50% faster. I played low gravity. So when I double tapped, I was literally flying through the air. That requires a much, much higher degree of twitch reflex and accuracy because everything's moving so much faster, right? It's moving way faster. So it requires much faster reflexes to account for that. So the players who played Unreal Tournament and played Quake and played all these mods were put in situations where they had to be even better. Whereas if you played something like Counter-Strike, it's slow. If you play something like Battlefield, everything's slower. You don't have to move quite as fast. Now, if you look at something like Fortnite or something like Overwatch, there is faster gameplay, right? But the point I'm trying to make is if you take some of these really old school Quake players that were godlike, and this is a perfect example of that, is what happened is this Quake player came into Overwatch, had had the healer in Overwatch, the female healer, I can't remember her name right now, just sit there and heal him, shoot the little beam into him, and just sit there and heal him, and he would run around on matches with Widowmaker and just dominate, would kill everybody, because nobody could kill him fast enough because he's got Mercy or whatever her name is healing him. So he just dominated, and he was just destroying everybody, and it was such a domination. It was such a dominating performance by this guy that Blizzard patched Widowmaker to slow down her zoom in and out, so he couldn't zoom in and get off his sniper shots fast enough to dominate like he was dominating. But that just shows you, like I said, I will always believe that the old school Quake and Unreal Tournament players were the best FPS players. And if you go into Unreal Tournament 2007, when it was still I think it's 2007? I don't know, the newest version, Epic Games has been working on that for years, and it's totally free, right? Like you can go into Epic Games Launcher and play it for free. I used to go in there and play with the developers. The developers would go in there and be actively playing Unreal Tournament, right? 2000, I think it was the 2007 game, or so if you go into the Unreal game engine here, and I would go and play against these guys, and I hadn't played in years, so my skills weren't good. But there were people in there that were like, my friend who was a professional Counter-Strike player jumped into the Unreal Tournament servers with me, right? And he, and it's in here somewhere. Here, this one, right? If you just go in, this is free. If you go in and install Unreal Tournament, this is the latest version of it. I would go in there with my friend who was a professional Counter-Strike player, and he's like, these guys are cheating. They can't be this good. And I'm like, they're not cheating. Oh, these are even developers of the game. And he would go in there and just get annihilated. And this is a professional Counter-Strike player. He would go in there and get his ass handed to him. He couldn't do anything. I mean, you'd walk 2 feet, boom, headshot, you're dead. You'd walk a few more, you were just getting killed left and right. And he's like, these guys are cheating. They're aimbotting. I go, no, they're just that good. And that's how it was in Unreal Tournament. People literally were amazing. They were so good. You know what I mean? And and there was more. The thing in Unreal Tournament, there was more about movement. You had to be able to you had to know how to move in a way that you weren't going to get shot. So. It is Activision making a lot of the bad decisions because Activision is just trying to make money. So it is definitely Activision making a lot of those bad decisions. I'm just trying to get my work computer going here. I gotta get to work. Hayward, I'm trying to get to work. Don't yell at me. Man, this stupid VPN. Operating at maximum efficiency. And when you got really good at Pharah in Overwatch, you were shooting people out of the air, which I used to do in Unreal Tournament all the time. I was like the rocket master in Unreal Tournament. I wish I would have had some of the old videos of me playing Unreal Tournament, because this is nothing compared to that shit, you know. What made me choose Gladiator Paladin? Sword and shield. If there's a character in an MMO that has a shield and a sword, I'm always drawn to a sword and a shield for some reason. I also like tanking a lot, and I also like playing defensive. I also like being able to have a lot of survivability for like. I also like to have a lot of survivability. I like defense a lot. I like being able to take on like bosses in the world by myself solo. I like to solo like hard content, so that's a lot of the reasons why I play that. Yeah, Overwatch was a great game, but it became too toxic. Like the leagues, you know, and the competitive stuff was just too toxic. People were really mean in Overwatch. It was really ridiculous, actually. And how many of these are there? Yeah, I mean, the Dancer, what is it called? The Dancer? I want to play the Dancer, and I like range a lot, so, I mean, I like archers a lot, so. I want to play the Dancer class. That looks like fun. I'll definitely probably play a healer class. I'm not sure which healer, but I like healing a lot too. So definitely healing, archer, or sometimes if there's like an assassin, so like archer, assassin, healer, and then the dancer. Those are the jobs that I'd be interested in. So, but I got to go to work, guys. Man, my voice is really roached today. And but thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I mean, I'll try changing up the titles of these things and seeing if we can get more people, you know, in them and watching them. Boy, watching that. I don't know much about the machinist. There's so many jobs. I don't know much about the machinist. So if you guys have certain jobs you think are really cool, I'll certainly, you know, think about playing them. You know what I mean? Okay, I recorded this clip in Unreal Tournament before, and I actually my audio 2000. I'm gonna pause. I'm looking to see a guide. This is kind of like people. They talk about some of the older FPS games because I'm curious to see if I show what my sensitivity is here. Focus on, yeah, I'm focusing on the MSQ. I'm just trying to get through the leveling experience. I'm trying to get my work computer set up here. Yeah, I'm just focusing on the this main story quest to get through and get to high level as fast as I can. And I want to start getting to those expansions. And see. You can see even back when I made this video, I have the gift of gab. Here we go. So here's game style. So here on this particular Unreal Tournament, I'm looking. This is normal, like 135.35 was a very common mode. I'm using the bots. I'm using them, I think, at experienced. It looks like. There we go. Yeah, see, there's my mouse sensitivities 3.5. Now, most of the really the people that had like the really good long sniper shots at like long distance in this game would be using like 1.5. I'd say 1.5 was probably the most common mouse sensitivity in a real tournament for like the high end players. Probably around 1.5. I used 3.5, so I was kind of, even in Unreal Tournament, I was the oddball. I always tend to use a much higher mouse sense. So, as you can see here, see if we've got it.
Is a different game. And in Overwatch, there isn't a lot of really this.
I'm actually
As you
talking
watch, the
about
goal is,
Overwatch.
and you'll see me start to like move my mouse a lot, just shaking the mouse really fast, just to kind of get my brain and my reflexes going. You'll see me moving the mouse left and right really fast. You'll see me do that a lot, and it's just me trying to kind of get my motor reflexes working quickly. So here my aim obviously is really bad. I'm kind of jerking around. This will improve over time. What's nice about this video that I did take is you'll see that I start to improve very quickly. Not very quickly, but I start to improve. And that's pretty cool that in a game that I only played 2 or 3 minutes already I could see improvement. There's a headshot, and that is what's so great about this map. And the reason that I like UT is I go and I set up 135.
Listen to that
speed.
voice.
You can make it faster if you want. You can make it slower if you want. I would not recommend making it slower than 135. I would try 135. As you get better and better, you can push it up to 155. And that will make it even more difficult because the targets are going to be moving faster, and you're going to be moving faster. As you get more skilled at hitting the headshots, then start using the double tap left and right to do your dodges. That makes it even more difficult for the enemy to hit you. But again, it's going to make you move faster, which means your aim has to be even that much better to land your shots. So really, a lot of people may disagree or agree with me, but for me, this is an excellent an excellent way to work on your twitch response and just your aiming in general. And a lot of those tools I've seen people using, they're good tools. I mean, they are good tools. But to me, if you just play,
and I'm talking about the tools that when Overwatch first came out and started to get really popular, you would see all these people, even Steam, say go into Steam, and there would be like tools that people would create and launch on Steam that were like aiming tools, and they were like weird, or like there was stuff like little blobs floating around the screen, and you were putting your cursor on them and clicking them and stuff, and they help, but they can't account for playing an actual game that requires you to kill something, and that's why I was trying to say that doing something like this is going to be much better for your aim, your twitch response.
If you just did what I'm doing here, it would cover the gamut. It would cover all of that. You wouldn't have to do this or that and this. Just do this. And I would say do this 3 times a day. Set it for 99 frag limit. And you will see a dramatic increase in your aiming and in your response. And of course, Overwatch is a different game. And in Overwatch, there isn't a lot of really this type of headshots. I mean, obviously Widowmaker, but she's got a charge delay. But once she has that charge in play, then of course, it's going to come into play, trying to move quickly. But the other thing that this is really going to help you on is just shooting while moving, and that is really going to come into play in Overwatch. So I think the one thing that people don't think about in FPS as much as they should is your skill with movement, and that's because they played Counter-Strike and Battlefield and these games where you're moving very slowly. You don't have these types of movement modifiers like sprint, like grappling hook, like rocket jumping. All of those things existed, not grappling hook, but a lot of those things pretty much existed in Unreal Tournament. And Unreal Tournament had a lot of modifiers, so there was a lot of different interesting ways to move. So getting good at shooting while moving and being the most important thing that, and you can see I'm starting to improve in the game already. And this is the first time I played the game in like 12 years. And just in a few minutes, my aim is starting to get better.
So when I would play Unreal Tournament, this is something I would do every day. I would start off the day of doing a tournament deathmatch frag limit 99. Yeah, they were, well, they were. I mean, like I said, the old school Quake and Unreal players, what they did with ball mice. And remember, we were using ball mice was pretty impressive. But yeah, my training regimen, like with Unreal Tournament, one of the first things I would do every single day was do a tournament deathmatch on deck 16, frag limit 99. So I would go through and do what I'm doing here all the way, and I would always win, of course. This is terrible. This is when I hadn't played the game in 2 years. What you're watching is me after not having played the game for about 2 years, come back in and try to play it, and I was terrible. Obviously, I was horrible. But my point was that you could see even in this video, I started to start get headshots, and I went on a killing spree there, and you can see the improvement. But I would do this every day, like every single day, and I would play about 8 hours of Unreal Tournament every day. I played 8 hours, no joke, almost every day for 3 years. So I was, you know, it was funny. Anyways, I got to go, guys. I got to go to work. I hope you guys have a great day. I'll do some Final Fantasy tonight, probably. I don't know. I might not do as much tonight because my wife's, I can't play every single day because my wife will start to get irritated. So I might do something with my wife tonight. We might go out and do something. I don't know. Go out for dinner or maybe go hiking or something. I don't know. But anyways, I will catch you guys later. Hope everybody has a great day. Peace out.